Sagittarius, your August 2025 forecast begins with Venus, the planet of relating but also of money, having moved into a very deep, intense part of your scope, but clashing with the restrictive but also dissolving energies of Saturn and Neptune. So as you start this month, if you're not quite feeling it around an emotional or romantic relationship, there could be a lot of thinking about what to do. And the planet of thought, Mercury, is in a retrograde alongside the Sun, emerging from a cazimi at the end of July, which could see you thinking a lot about personal space, about having a little bit more time to yourself. If you are someone who loves traveling, that also could be an area that you're contemplating, because Mercury retrogrades are opportunities. Yes, they can create delays. You may be discussing a contract. There may be something that you need to receive some professional help on in terms of understanding. But Mars recently, over the previous 5 weeks as we enter August, has actually been in a very authoritative part of your chart, giving you a lot of extra confidence to raise your profile. But he clashes with Saturn and Neptune too, exactly from the 6th, when he moves into a part of your chart for 6 weeks, which is much more to do with your alliances, your long-term plan, but also your network. So I feel that what the early parts of this month can show up is where you're not particularly feeling a sense of passion, and maybe you're wanting to flex and change things to create a little bit more of an opportunity to reflect on what your options are. Now later in the month, as Venus escapes the grip of Saturn and Neptune, she is actually going to align in the most beautiful of ways with Jupiter, your ruler. And if you're lucky enough to be in a relationship which is going super well, the chances are you and your partner will do something more spontaneous through the start of this month, which could see you jetting off somewhere last minute, or perhaps taking a day trip out, or just deciding to do something off the cuff together, which could give you the opportunity to spend some quality time together. But if you are someone who wants to make progress in terms of your financial situation, your ability to understand the subtleties in situations are also going to be highlighted from the 9th to the 15th. And maybe is the full moon of the 9th is going to also see you looking or researching a lot, discussing a lot. You could hear varying viewpoints, but they can all be very informative to you. But as Mars moves past the exact opposition to the restraining energies of Saturn and the lowering of vitality energies of Neptune, he then forges a stunning grand air trine to Pluto in the part of your chart to do with everyday communications, and Uranus newly arrived in the part of your chart to do with fresh connections. So you may find yourself having some very exciting conversations from the heart of the month. Maybe as they will be to do with business. With Mercury going direct on the 11th, that just helps things speed up, blockages be cleared. But that combination between Venus and Jupiter could, in a very close emotional or intimate relationship, give you an opportunity to do something that you don't necessarily find easy to do, which is to get very close. If, however, you're wanting to work more with someone in terms of a business situation, your ability to see the big picture, make bold moves, have the confidence to go for it is also going to be something to behold. Now, for some archers, you may receive very good news that's related to someone else. So it could be a partner is going to hear about an insurance, a pension, a legacy payment. There could be something to do with an inheritance that also comes to pass around about the 12th of this month. All truly exciting stuff. But then on the 22nd, the Sun replaces the strident Mars, in the most authoritative and visible part of your chart, your sector of goals, followed by a new moon on the 6th. But they're going to square up to Uranus. So if you are in a situation in terms of your work where you don't really feel particularly seen or heard or recognised, and you are feeling restless, one of the areas of change that could show up this month could be around that area. And there may be someone who you're connecting with who just seems to spur you on. It's their enthusiasm, their freshness, their sense of excitement, which you're really feeding into. Or if you want to work for yourself, you may decide to start a new enterprise that has some very fresh ways of going about things. Your ability as a communicator, however, is emphasized furthermore on the 25th, when Venus moves to replace the Sun in the sign of Leo. And if you do need to, or you are looking to travel somewhere towards the end of this month, it could be a very immersive experience. You could also have a conversation with someone as August comes to a close that really is quite spellbinding. It could have a karmic potential. You may encounter someone that you feel you've met before. There's something about them that just chimes, that you just feel very easy with one another. Or it could be a blinding connection, which is more physical, where you just find someone very, very hard to ignore. So this is a month which could see you thinking, discussing, travelling, perhaps rescheduling, finding out about a contractual matter, gaining some extra insights from information you receive due to the full moon on the 9th. But I feel Mars moving into your 11th house gives you the opportunity to use your leadership skills, but in a more collaborative way. But initially, if you do feel that you're not sensing excitement, passion, enthusiasm at the start of this month, it wouldn't really be a surprise. And I think it's going to be from the start of week 2 that you really start to feel that you're flowing forwards, and by the end of week 2 things will be rattling along at a much more encouraging pace. With year 2025 absolutely racing by, you can order your year 2026 natal forecast now, and I'll give you the rest of this year free, but also 30% off and your life roadmap report, the most important document any of us can ever read, helping to give us searing insights into the life patterns that have played out so far, but a much more intimate understanding of how to work with those energies future forwards. Please see the link below for more.